for Friday. What's the square root of 9? 3. What's the square root of negative 9? 3i. Yeah. The negative inside the square root becomes an I. So the definition of I is it equals the square root of negative 1. There is no number times itself that equals negative 1. So this is, they call this imaginary. Anyways, but here's the weird thing. What is I squared? Well, the square root of negative 1 times square root. When you square a square root, the square root just goes away. So I squared is equal to negative 1. So even though I is imaginary, I squared becomes real again. Okay, so anytime we have an I squared, it's equal to negative 1. So if I have like 2 plus 3i and say 3 minus 5i. Okay, how do you think I would do this problem? FOIL. And for the most part, you treat I as like a variable, except for when you get I squared. So if I FOIL this, first outside would be 6, 2 minus 5i is negative 10i. What would the inside be?
6i? 9i.
Plus 9i. Okay, and then the last 3 times negative 5i
Negative 15i.
is negative 15i squared. Remember when you do like x times x, it's x squared? I times I is I squared. So here's what happens. This is a 6. This is minus 10i plus 9i is negative 1i, or negative I. Okay, negative 15i squared. I squared actually turns back into a real number, so it turns into negative 1. So this is negative 15 times negative 1.
Ooh, 15.
So it's positive, plus 15.
Let's go over it.
Okay, and then these two are like terms, they're both the real numbers. 21 minus I. Okay, when you have a real number added together with an imaginary number, this is called a complex number. A real number together with imaginary is complex. So if this was like 3i, this by itself is imaginary, this over here is real, but when you have them added together, it's complex. So that's kind of what today's assignment is about, complex numbers. Okay, so let's see. There's going to be like 1 or 2 problems that do this. Okay, what I say I squared equals? Okay, I to the third would be negative 1 times another I, because I squared equals that, then you multiply by another I. So it's negative 1 times I, which would be negative I. I to the fourth would be that times another I. So it would be negative I squared, but I squared is negative 1. So this is negative negative 1, so this is positive 1. I to the fifth would be that times another I, 1 times I. I to the sixth would be that times another I squared is negative 1. Okay, are you guys seeing a pattern here?
Yep.
Okay,
No, because
every 4,
yeah.
it starts to repeat. So, if they say, what's I to the 17th? What's that going to be? Well,
Negative 9.
what you do is you figure out how many times is it going to go through the 4. So 4 times 4 is 16. It's going to go through 4 times. The remainder of 1 means it's going to it's gonna go through this pattern like 4 times, and the remainder of 1 means we're gonna go back to the first one.
Okay.
So this would just equal I. Okay, if the remainder is 2, it's gonna equal -1. If the remainder is 3, it's gonna equal -1, or -I. If the remainder, you can't get a remainder of 4 here. If the remainder is 0, actually, it's gonna equal 1. Because if it was like I to the 16th, okay, this divides evenly by 4. The remainder is 0. So it would go through this like 4 times and it would stop right there. So that would just equal 1. So if the remainder is 2, if the remainder is 1, it's that. So you kind of have to divide the old school way. 17 divided by 4.
Wait, so it's I. Is that a negative I or -1? So it's I, -1, negative I, 1.
Yes.
Okay.
This makes sense, but at the same time.
Well, we'll practice like on 17 and 19. That's those problems. All right. So we're actually starting on 13. So most of the time you treat i's as variables, except when you get an I squared and then it turns into -1. Okay, so if we're adding, what do we do when we're adding? Well, you just add like terms. 1 plus 3 and -6i plus -2i. -8i. Same thing you would do if they were x's instead of i's. On complex numbers, they always put the real number in front. Okay, so the i's always go second. So on 14, it's a subtraction problem, so you have to subtract 3 and subtract 2i from the first one. It's kind of like number 15, actually. 5 minus 8i minus -2 minus I. So what will happen to this 5? It'll be 5 what? 5 plus 2, 7. -8i minus -I. So what will that be? Be -8i.
-8i squared.
No, we're not multiplying, we're adding. -8i.
Oh, negative 9i.
No, -8i plus 1i.
Oh, 7i. -7i.
-7i.
Because, yeah.
-8 plus 1 is -7. Okay, 17. Alright, this goes back to the thing we were just talking about. I to the 8th.
Divide by 4 is
You divide by 4 and the remainder is
0.
0. Divide by 4, the remainder is 0. So that means it's going to go through
2 times.
2 times.
4 times.
Also, remainder is 0. It's going to go through this pattern twice, but it'll end up on 1. Okay, the remainder is 0. It's going to equal 1. I to the 83rd. Okay. 83 divided by 4. Do you guys remember how to do this? Calculator won't help very much because you need the remainder, not the decimal or fraction. So 4 goes into 8 twice. 2 times 4 is 8. Bring down the 3. How many times 4 go into 3?
0.
0. So the remainder is 3.
So
What's the answer going to be? Yeah.
Yes, let's go.
-I. Did you do that from memory or did you take notes?
Take it from memory.
Nice.
I'm on fire today. Although I am not doing long division. So I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Really? Dividing by 4? That's not that bad.
No, I should do it
Mm. You guys are that rusty, really? Can't do long division, or never. Maybe you never learned it.
The weekend,
It's been a lot more than the weekend since we've done normal long division. Okay, what kind of problem do you guys think 21 is? Distribute. So, -3 times 2, -3 times 5i. Okay, not a lot you can do there. Okay, what kind of problem is 23? Foil. So, first, 3 times 2, outside, 3 times -i, -3i, inside, 2 times I, and last, what's I times -i? What if it was x times -x? What would that equal?
X. Negative X.
No, we're not adding, we're multiplying. -x squared. We're not adding, we're multiplying. So this is -I squared. But what does I squared turn into?
I.
No,
what?
no,
Just guess.
-1. You gotta make me scroll all the way up here. I squared is -1. Where you started the lesson, also right there. So really what we have right here is minus -1. So that's a +1. So 6 plus 1 is 7. -3i plus 2i is -1i. So it's almost the same as FOIL, we just have to change I squared into a -1.
We're gonna win this. We're gonna win on Friday too.
Are you?
Well, Arcoma run ruled games.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
So you guys are gonna have a playoff game then?
Which is not gonna be good. Because we have to play the number one
Arcoma
team.
run rule. Was Arcoma missing anybody? How did they beat Gaines that bad?
Gans is just terrible. I mean, they're atrocious.
They have 6 plays.
Yeah, they have 6 plays total.
Why? Wow, it's actually gonna be boring.
It should be over by halftime.
2 hours to get there.
Yeah.
If
Well,
Arcoma ran
It's better to have a 2-hour drive and then whoop somebody than a 2-hour drive and get whooped.
Yeah.
Okay, 25. 7 plus 2i, 1 plus 4i.
No, the day's beat up.
I was thinking poor Easton because he missed the winner. If he didn't get back to school,
Yeah, if he doesn't come back up by Friday, he's gonna miss the
Ano-
only 2 wins of the
another
season.
win, yeah.
I just had a good feeling about it before we even played, bro.
Well, you already know Arcoma run rolled him, so
No, I didn't know that yet.
maybe you have a good feeling because of last week's game.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh no, I'm talking about before Arcoma's game.
Oh,
Like I just had a good feeling about it.
yeah,
Were you there for the? Oh, yeah, you were in the press box, weren't you?
yeah.
Bro, I could barely even stand up when the helicopter landed.
It was pretty windy down there.
Oh yeah.
At my height, it wasn't very windy.
Yeah.
It blew down like the base.
Yeah. Okay, so another foil. 7 times 1, 7 times 4i. 28i. inside is 2i times 1. And then how about this? 2i times 4i.
8i.
Squared.
8i squared.
Let's go.
But what is 8i squared going to turn into?
Wait. 8 times 1, so 8.
No, 8 times negative 1.
Negative 1.
So that's basically a negative 8.
Yeah, negative 8.
Okay, so 7 minus 8 is negative 1. And plus 28i plus 2i
I can smell your coconut hair.
makes plus 39.
I would imagine like it being like a military helicopter.
Like a
Yeah, you'd be
big
cool.
duty, like Black
Yeah,
Hawk or something.
You'd be
I bet the people like driving by on the road thought some
Yeah, suddenly. Okay, no. Do you remember Macy? Do you
I
remember
wonder if
Macy?
they thought somebody was hurt and getting medevaced or something.
I know, yeah. Do you remember Macy Stapleton?
Yeah.
So she took a be real of the helicopter, right?
Mm-hmm.
I jokingly commented, "Oh no, did somebody get hurt?" She says, "No, they were doing it for fun." I don't think she knows that I'm on the team. Like she was like genuinely, no, somebody was just having fun. I was like, wait, you know I'm on the team, right?
No, she didn't. Okay.
no. They had video of them.
Okay. So what does it mean when there's a minus in front of the parentheses?
subtract.
Subtract both of these. Okay. The real number is going to come first. So minus 4 should be in front. And then the imaginary number should come next. So we have 5i minus 6i, which is negative 1i, just minus I.
Is this a 2 days on
No, definitely not.
Oh, Paxton.
Our test will probably be like next Friday. This chapter is kind of giant, which is not great because that means, it's not that bad.
Isn't this
If you guys are,
professor-
if you're good at factoring, like we spent all last week factoring, you should probably be pretty good, huh?
Isn't it like pastor appreciation?
That's Wednesday, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Okay, so wait, I didn't copy this right, did I? Oh, there's no I on this one. Okay, so another distribute. So what's 4i times a half? What's half of 4?
4. Or, I mean, 2.
So this would be 2i. And then 4 times negative 3 halves is going to be negative 6. And then I times I squared. What's negative 6i squared going to turn into?
6.
Positive. Positive 6. This is negative 6 times negative 1. So it turns into positive 6. And plus 2i is going to stay that. So,
Clayton, you're such a nerd.
It's like the one chapter I've ever gotten.
don't jinx yourself.
I'm so scary.
At least this time.
Yeah, who's gonna yell at me?
Oh
when
yeah,
I say that?
he usually says all the answers.
Who's gonna yell at me when I say weird, goofy stuff?
Me.
But it's not the
Okay,
same.
31 just ramped up in difficulty.
No.
But we're almost at the end.
Almost.
Okay, so when we're subtracting fractions, what do we need?
Faith.
Huh?
Faith.
A common denominator. is
Did
what
you
I'm
say
looking
faith?
for. So what do 6 and 5 both go into?
36. No, 30.
30. So this one needs multiplied by 5. And this one needs multiplied by 6. So on this one, we're basically distributing that.
My stomach's growling.
The denominator is now 30. Oh, okay. You guys follow how I did that? Multiply by 5 on the left one, on everything, and 6 on the right one. Now what do we do? When you have the same denominator,
4.
no.
No.
You add or subtract the numerators. Now, because there's a minus right here, that means we're not just subtracting 12i, we're subtracting all of this. Okay? So this is, make sure I copied that right. This will be 80 minus 42. You guys see where I got that? 80 minus negative 42.
So plus 42.
Right, so that would be like 122.
How in the world did you do that? Actually, that's not hard.
Okay, and then we have negative 25i minus 12i. That'd be negative 37i. Okay, here's the thing. Now, you can put it all over 30. But when we're doing complex numbers, they don't write it in one fraction. So what they do is just split it up. This is over 30, and this is over 30. And the I, in fractions, the I just kind of floats outside the fraction. So they want it split up to where the real numbers over here, the complex numbers over, or the imaginary numbers over here. Aren't it? Okay, there is one thing wrong with this answer. Anybody tell?
Plus or minus?
No.
Dang it, I just guessed.
That's when we're solving square root problems, like x squared equals 9. The answer is plus or minus 3.
Oh, yeah,
It's
you
not this. Okay, this reduces. These are both divisible by 2.
Good job, Linux. Let's see if Mr. Jordan gets it right. Wait, no, I can't. Wait. Oh, I did it wrong. Never mind. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Alright. There's not really an even like number 31. Okay, 33, I squared of 2. By the way, there's something similar on 32. On 32, it's a FOIL, but you have to do I squared of 3 times I squared of 3. On 33, we're doing I squared of 2 cubed. Okay, what does it mean to cube something?
Instead of by 2, it's by 3.
No,
3 times.
you're multiplying it by itself 3 times. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we have I times I times I. What's I cubed? What's I to the third? You guys remember?
Wait.
Don't make me scroll all the way back up there.
Negative I.
Negative I.
Let's go.
So here, I'll just put an I cubed for now, but that will turn into a negative I. Okay, what's square root of 2 times square root of 2?
Square root of 4?
Which is
2.
2. Anytime you square a square root, it just becomes that number. Square root of 2 times square root of 2 is 2. Times square root of 2 is just
2 square root of
like 2 square root of 2.
Oh, right.
Okay,
Oh, we're so funny.
the I cubed, we already talked about this, turns into a negative I. Now, some of you did this wrong on the homework, right, Roman? Where does this I supposed to go, though?
Oh, on the front.
No, right there. In
Yeah,
front?
I meant like in front of the square root.
Yeah, in front of the square root. So this is negative 2i. Oh, Adeline, you kind of missed this, didn't you?
Yeah,
This is part of Friday's assignment.
I watched.
So if it's a little more confusing than normal, that's probably why. I have a couple Y calculators that can do a lot of these problems, but for some reason they can't do like 34, 18, those problems. I don't know why.
Last one, Jordan.
Yep.
I'm excited for the weekend.
Gosh, no,
Guess what? I gotta go to the OSU game.
Did you guys know that this week
What are you dressing up as, Jaden?
Nero?
Oh, recycling the Nero
The
outfit.
Nero outfit.
Why not Julius Caesar? Why Nero?
Well, I mean, it
He's
could
like
be,
one of the evil ones.
but
Yeah, Nero literally kicked his wife to death. His pregnant wife.
he would, I don't think
I he like dropping.
Julius Caesar wasn't that great either.
Yeah, but he didn't
But no.
murder people for
Yeah, his mother did that.
personal reasons.
But it's funny because as soon as I walked through
He
the
also wanted a horse to
building,
be in charge of Empire.
Mr. Totino or whatever, he literally said, it's Nero. He didn't say it's Julius Caesar, he said it's Nero.
Because I was leaving my house.
So Nero wanted a horse to be in charge of the Roman Empire.
A horse?
And then the cops.
He tried
Okay.
to make a horse in charge.
On to 35, let's wrap this up. Okay, what does I to the fourth turn into?
1.
1. Okay, so as for our real numbers, we have -3 plus 1. And for our imaginary, we have 5i plus 1i.
So 6i.
And for some reason, I ended on an easier one. So guys, on 32 and 33, or sorry, 36, I mean, both of them at one point you're gonna have to multiply I squared of 3 times I squared of 3. So what is square root of 3 times square root of 3? 3. What's I times I?
I squared.
And what's I squared?
-1.
-1. So 3 times -1.
-3.
Okay. It's not the answer. This is just part of the 32 and 36. Did you guys follow that?
Yep.